Good evening, everyone. How are you all? Hello, hello. How are you all? Are you enjoying Hack4Bengal? Our second season is coming up very soon, after a few days. Do let me know in the comment section. What are your thoughts regarding our second season? If I'm properly audible to you, can I get some thumbs up or a positive sign, yes or no, whatever? If I'm clearly audible and visible to you. Yeah, kindly give a hello, hi, anything on the comment section. Hello, Alapon. Hello, Koena. Hello, Quinto Magnet. Hello, Sornovo. Abhiraj, Saranjit, Aditya. Right, right. And I guess I am properly audible to you all. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Yeah. So Hack for Bengal, a community initiative. As you all know, this is the second season of Hack for Bengal. This is Hack for Bengal 2.0, which is going to be held from 20th of April to 30th April 2023. Okay, you are already registered. Most of you have already registered. If you don't know, only 1 day is left. Around about 24 hours is left for the registration to be closed. It is already posted on our Discord and all other social media platforms. So hurry up. And if you know that your friends are still yet not registered, do tell them to register fast because we will be closing the registration by tomorrow. Right. Okay. Coming up for the today's session, we have today's session getting started with Web3 and Filecoin. We have our speaker from Filecoin, Rishikesh Kale. He's a blockchain developer. So, we are transitioning from Web2 to Web3, and this is a high time that we should all learn about Web3. So, this is the perfect session for you all. If you are a beginner, then it's a perfect session. If you are a expert in blockchain, then also you will get some more experience about it. You can ask your question, you can resolve your query. Okay, so regarding Web3 and how Filecoin will be beneficial for you all, right? So our speaker is already here with us. I will just add him. Hello,
Hi,
sir. Hello, sir. Yeah,
hi,
yeah.
teacher.
Okay, so yep. Hi, hi. Okay, so the people I just are pretty much excited. Okay,
Okay.
so we have some questions that will come up later on after your session is over. We will have a Q&A session, and at that time we can come to the question. For now, I'm handing over the stage to you, sir. You can carry on from here.
All right. Thanks for the introduction. Okay,
Yeah.
so I hope I was told we are having a mixed crowd where we are having some quite good expert blockchain developers in the hackathon as well as some who are keen to join the Web3 roadmap. So I would keep it very simple for those who are trying to get into Web3, and those who are already into Web3 they would get some more insights on how they can leverage Filecoin and how they can build some good applications on top of it. Okay, I have some presentation for you all. So let me just quickly share my screen and we'll just get started. All right. I just hope that my screen is visible. All right. So as our topic goes, getting started with Web3 and Filecoin. So we will just I will just drive you through the today's agenda. First, we will just cover some basic core concepts of Web3, IFS, and Filecoin. Later, we'll move on to the introduction to Filecoin Virtual Machine, which is the new blockbuster in the town in Web3 space. And we would be having a hands-on session where I would be actually explaining you how we would be writing the smart contracts, how do we deploy the smart contracts on Filecoin Virtual Machine, and also integrate your application with Lighthouse storage. And at last, we'll get into discussion and Q&A. Okay, so IPFS and Filecoin. In Web2, we are having some centralized ecosystem. And when we talk about Web3, we are introduced to the decentralized world or the distributed world. So as you can see, why do we actually need a decentralized ecosystem right now when we are already having a good performing centralized ecosystem? So when you just directly see in the diagram, you would be able to see that all the nodes are connected to a single point. if that single point or the single node fails, the entire system would fail. Or if someone attacks on the central node, all the data which is present on the external nodes which are connected to it can be manipulated, and the data can also be manipulated. But when it comes to decentralized ecosystem, all the nodes are interconnected with each other, making it really impossible for any external body to attack or try to change data or like hack into the system. So this is why today we need a decentralized ecosystem. So what exactly is IPFS? So the IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System, wherein like you can store any kind of data on a distributed ecosystem or a decentralized environment. So interplanetary file system is distributed, which means there is no central server, and thus we overcome the problem of a single node failure. Okay. Then moving on to the next, like how exactly IPFS addresses the content. So IPFS addresses the content by what it is and not where it is. So it hardly cares where the file is actually located. It will just fetch the data wherever it is located and give you the content ID which is with respect to that particular data which is stored on IPFS. So this is the beauty of IPFS, how the addressing of the content is done. Okay. All right. So using IPFS in the wild, so like what are the different possibilities? How you can actually leverage this particular technology? So first thing first, you can run your own node. You can also run a network of your own nodes, or you can actually interact with some pinning services available. So some of the pinning services which are available are Pinata is there, Infura is there. Then apart from that, we will discuss more storage mechanism which are built on top of IPFS, which you can have always leverage while building your particular application for this particular hackathon. Okay, and so like when you upload the data, like what would happen is like a particular content ID would be generated for that particular data. Okay, so now comes the question, like why these nodes will actually store your data, right? So because when you are uploading the data on IPFS, you would if the data remains there all the time, right? You can always fetch the data, and that's completely free of cost. But these particular nodes which are storing your data, why would they actually store the data? Like because like, they are getting nothing out of it, right? So one thing what you can think is maybe you are popular, maybe you are like someone popular or a famous personality like Elon Musk. So whose data if you are if whose data if you are storing on your particular node, you also become popular just by showing that particular data. Or you can just hope that you create certain data, certain artwork, or maybe generate some innovative ideas or generate some innovative data which gets viral, and the nodes or the nodes who are on this particular network would be eager to store your data, right? So these are the only two possibilities why the node providers would be storing your data, right? So like there's some loophole in this, right? So how do we address that? So are there any decentralized and reliable alternatives? Of course, IPFS is a decentralized, but sometimes you cannot rely for huge amount of data or a sensitive data. So here comes Filecoin into the picture. So what Filecoin does is it bridges the gap between the nodes or the storage providers who are storing your data and the clients who wants to store their data. So like it also generates verifiable cryptographic proofs that the particular storage provider with whom you have like finalized to store the data would be is continuously storing your data and without hampering it, and it would the system would eventually generate verifiable cryptographic proofs with time to time, which will make the client assure that okay, his data is safe and the storage provider is storing its data. So he's always assured that his data won't be ever lost. So you can just see there are some good stats like how much amount of data is being currently stored by the storage providers on Filecoin, and it is continuously ever growing. So how exactly this particular deal between the storage provider and the client works? So first, the client makes a time limited deal. So maybe the client would want to store the data just for 6 months period of time or 18 months period of time and so on. Okay. So he will create time limited deal with this particular storage provider via certain platform or the smart contracts. Now with the introduction of Filecoin virtual machine, all this complete procedure which I'm going to explain you in next couple of minutes, it can be automated using smart contract and making it more secure. Okay, So you can do it like off chain as well as on chain now with a Filecoin virtual machine. So once the deal is created, then the providers would generate a proof of replication to verify that they have received the client's data, and that particular proof is then published on Filecoin blockchain so that everybody is able to see that particular storage provider has agreed upon to store the particular data with the particular client. Okay, then over the period of time, the provider has the responsibility that he or she would have to continuously generate the proof, which we call it as proof of space time, which is also consensus mechanism which is working behind the Filecoin blockchain. So this particular storage providers would have to generate the proof that they are having the data that was provided by the client, and this way the client would be assured. Okay, and at the end, when the deal ends, the either the client would have to either renew the deal, just like recently, like on Twitter, we are having the blue tick check mark we are getting. So for that, the deals are getting renewed. Like every month, you pay for 1 month, and after at the end of 1 month, automatically whether you continue to your amount gets deducted from your bank account, and the deal is renovated. Same way, either the client, if the client want to renew the deal for extend the deal for next 6 months, 18 months, or a particular period of time, he can do so, or else the deal can be like scrapped there, and the data would be like no longer stored with the particular storage provider. Okay, so this is how the Filecoin and IPFS works together. So as you can see, like IPFS is used for fast, flexible retrieval, and Filecoin provides you a proof of verifiability that the store data is securely stored with the storage provider. Okay, so that is how Filecoin and IPFS goes hand in hand. So if you closely have a look at the Web3 stack, so we are having layer 1 blockchain, some layer 2 and side chains, some development environment, and the file storage is one of the most important stuff whenever you build any decentralized application. So you need to store your data somewhere of your users. So we are having some good alternatives to it, whereas Filecoin and IPFS is leading right now. Okay, so this particular, it is this data storage is not just restricted that you if you even if your application or decentralized application is running on some another blockchain, maybe it can be Ethereum, it can be Polygon, or it can be Shadam, or any other blockchain for that matter. So you can always store your data on Filecoin blockchain, and still your application can be run on other blockchains as well. So that's the beauty which Filecoin provides. But of course, you can always have your decentralized application running on Filecoin virtual machine as well. We will talk about it later. Okay, moving on towards the next part, like Web3 all down the way. So this is certain architecture where the storage layer comes in, and how the data retrieval is done from the IPFS and Filecoin. So you can see that here the front end first makes a request from IPFS, like they need the data, and the data can be yeah, like fetched using first it is recognized whether it's the data that belong to particular user, which can be done by any decentralized blockchain wallet. And later we would be having a storage helper. The storage helper can be NFT.storage. It can be even Lighthouse storage. We will be discussing about these particular helpers pretty soon. And in the bottom, all this particular architecture resides on IPFS and Filecoin. So eventually the data is going to be stored on IPFS and Filecoin, whereas these are the different storage mechanism which you can use. So whichever you prefer. So we were talking about what are the different storage helpers. The first one we are having is Web3.storage, which on this you can store any kind of data on Filecoin blockchain and IPFS. So it has got absolutely good SDKs, and its documentation are pretty solid, which makes you even a beginner who is for first time accessing Web3.storage, you will be able to easily integrate with it, and which is a certain requirement for this particular hackathon if you are trying to build or apply for the IPFS and Filecoin track. So this should be your target. Or if you are building some NFT specific application, so NFT.storage gives you an additional utility. If you are already building on NFT, they have got their own particular standard in which the data need to be stored, wherein you can customize your standard NFT storage. NFT storage got you don't need to think of what kind of NFT standards do you need to use, because NFT storage already got it sorted for you. So again, they got some excellent documentation which you can always refer. And the last one is lighthouse.storage, which gives you an additional facilities. So now, when we upload a particular data on IPFS, so we get a content identifier. So whoever is having the particular content identifier would be able to access that data. But at times, not in every use case, you would want that anybody who is having access to that content identifier should be able to give the data, because eventually when you put something on public blockchains, the data is going to be public. So Lighthouse storage got a Kavach SDK which you can always use, where you can put access control as to which particular users would be able to access the particular data. So this thing which you can make use of, we will be actually running a short hands-on session on Lighthouse storage and deploying a smart contract on FVM, wherein I would be explaining you more utility towards Lighthouse storage. And the last one is Flick. So you must have might have heard of Netlify or Vercel for that matter. So wherein you can host your websites. So but it is again a centralized server. But when you are building an decentralized application, you may not want to have your application being hosted on a centralized server, because that would eat up the beauty of decentralized application. But when you are hosting your application or the app on Flick, your application is all not just getting hosted on centralized network, but it will be hosted on a decentralized network, which makes it censorship resistant, and nobody would be able to pull down your website. Okay. Now, moving on towards the Filecoin virtual machine. What this exactly is. So most of you might have heard about EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. So Filecoin Virtual Machine is built on similar lines. So whatever the things which you can build on EVM compatible blockchains or Ethereum Virtual Machine, the same thing you can replicate on Filecoin Virtual Machine, and we are welcoming those ideas right now. So you can just come up with some unique ideas and try to deploy your Solidity based smart contracts on Filecoin machine, which are virtual machine right now, which was not possible previously. Okay, so Filecoin F virtual machine project delivers on-chain programmability to the Filecoin network. So if you remember, I mentioned that the deals which are happening, that deals can be off-chain as well as on-chain, right? So now FVM brings you the on-chain programmability to the Filecoin network. So most of the in Filecoin, we call the smart contracts as actors. So most of the native actors which belong to the Filecoin blockchain, they are written in Rust programming language. But now with FVM, your Solidity smart contracts also can come into picture, and you just need to write your regular smart contracts in your favorite Solidity programming language, and you can just deploy it on Filecoin virtual machine, and it would then be eligible to interact with the Filecoin network. Okay, so we are having Filecoin network, which is the L0 level 0, that is dedicated towards the storage. Now with the introduction on Filecoin virtual machine, we can actually compute over this particular state of the storage. So you can actually formulate certain deals, like this storage need to be stored for this particular data, or maybe this particular stored data can be accessed by this particular users, or maybe you can just carry out some certain computation on the particular data using Filecoin virtual machine. And on top of it, now you will be having computation over the data. So on Filecoin virtual machine, you were just computing over the state of the data, and now you can actually compute over data. So L2 is something which we are expecting you guys to build. So you can just come up with your own ideas and build something really awesome, and amuse us at the end of this particular hackathon. Okay, so now you might be wondering, you are already having EVM compatible blockchains, and now what additional ideation can be built on Filecoin virtual machine? Okay, so this is some one of my favorite slide. So I will just take you through what are the different particular use case. So let me just start it with data DAOs, which is my personal favorite. So just imagine there's a group of people. For example, we can have some historical persons who are researching on some ancient language maybe, and they got some very just some papers or maybe some proofs of that particular language, which are in a certain bad condition or maybe which can get lost. So say this particular data is quite important to us human beings, because in any discovery which is done with respect to us humans, which is it will be always important for us, right? So now this data needs to be stored for lifetime period, even if 10,000 years or anything, till the time this particular universe exists, we need that this data needs to be preserved. So this particular group of people can come together, form a DAO, and store the data all together, and this we can call it as data DAOs. Then there are some storage insurances there. So there are storage providers. Maybe if certain deal between the client and the storage provider expires, or maybe the store due to certain hardware issues or something, the storage provider loses the data. So there should be certain insurance being provided to the client as well as the storage provider. So these things you can build somewhere something around this. Apart from that, there are multiple use cases which you have already seen on other blockchains as well. I will just quickly narrate them all of you. So there is perpetual renewable storage, which means that the information needs to be stored for a longer period of time till this particular universe exists. So this particular storage mechanism can be again built on Filecoin virtual machine, which was not possible till date. Apart from that, you can have some trustless reputation system, which comes under identity, or this thing can be again built for storage providers. Something like you can just design a particular system, just like in Uber or Ola. When you book a particular ride, you get to see that what certain ratings are there for each driver as well as for us passengers, right? So this repetition really helps, like whether you want to travel with that particular driver or not, and the driver would also have an authority, like whether he wants to really allow that particular passenger to get inside his cab or not. So you can build a certain trustless reputation system between the clients and the storage providers. Apart from that, you can build smarter storage markets, automated upgrades, health commitments, on-chain voting, tokens, bulk discounts, storage futures, derivatives, NFTs. So NFTs, and again something most of the NFTs which are right now, which are the famous, take any name, most of them are the famous ones. The metadata behind a particular NFT, they are stored on Filecoin blockchain. Now your NFT data as well as your NFTs can stay on a single blockchain. Apart from that, then you are having time block retrieval, then decentralized verifiable computation, sector auctions. So sector auctions, I will just give you some brief insights on this. So what happens is that the storage providers, when he's actually storing the data, then he forms, there are some sectors, he just start accumulating 1 TB of sector, then it grows and grows and grows and grows till the time he wants to grab the another part of sector, so that he would be eligible to store more and more amount of data. So this thing again, these options can be again built on chain, and which will really make it more robust system. Let's move on to the next slide now. So whatever I have said, so I will just give you some 60 seconds for to scan this QR. This will take you to a website called as Request for Startup FPM Edition. If you are not able to scan this QR right now, so you can always Google Request for Startup FPM Edition, when all these use cases would be covered in details, and you can give it a read, and you can then ideate how what particular idea you want to build. Okay. I just hope you are all done with scanning the QR. Maybe you will just okay. Okay, how do I now build on SVM?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I think you are sharing the screen, but the QR is not visible.
Okay. Is
Just
this being
kindly look
visible
into
now?
it. Your screen is visible, but it's stuck in the FBM one only.
Okay. Okay.
Data words and data DAOs.
Yeah, you can just always Google for request for startups SVM edition, and that will take you to the same page. Let me just maybe reshare my screen. Okay, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
that helps.
You can. Yeah, you can do that.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible now. The QR is visible.
Okay, just take your time, guys. No worries. Okay, I hope like you guys might have scanned the QR right now. And just like I previously said, that you can always Google for request for startup FPM edition, and you should be good to go. So how do I build with FVM? So the first important thing, just like we are having OpenZip in libraries, which we just directly import inside of a smart contracts to like directly build certain utilities or smart contract. We are having here something called as Filecoin.sol. This is a particular set of smart contract APIs, which is again written in Solidity programming language itself, which you can use to interact with the Filecoin network. So this is how your smart contract would be able to interact with the Filecoin network. So you can just go through this particular smart contracts. Also, there is FEM Hardhat Starter Kit available. You can always go through that. There is an example how you can actually interact with this particular library. This is the most important thing if you are building an application on FVM and something related to storage space. Okay. And again, you can go all the resources related to Python virtual machine are available again on this particular link. So you can scan this QR and proceed ahead. So let's just take another 30 seconds for this. Cool. Let's go. So now it's time for hands-on. Enough of theory. Maybe you guys can just get some good hands-on. So can I just quickly get like how many of you are completely not aware of Solidity? You can just point it down, or write it down on the chat box, or just let me know. If you are having your devices on, you can always navigate to remix.ethereum.org, wherein you will be able to open this particular IDE where you can actually write down your smart contracts. Okay. So I have created an NFT contract for you all. So I will just quickly like take you through how a smart contract looks like. So the first thing is the SPDX license identifier, which is now must, which is, and just like we are having some licenses for all our codes. So we need to specify like what kind of license do we need to add. It can be MIT, GPL, or unlicensed as well. The next line is where you actually define what's the version of Solidity which you are currently working. So right now we are somewhere around 0.8.18, I guess so. So we can define the range. This smart contract would be running between the Solidity compiler, which is capable of handling 0.7.0 and to 0.9.0. Okay, so the next thing is like I will just quickly import. I'm just importing the extension that is used or the ERC 721 standard. We are all aware about the NFT standards. The first one is ERC 721 and the second one is ERC 1155. So I would be interacting since we don't need like multiple copies NFTs. We just need some unique NFTs here. So I have chosen ERC 721. So I have imported that particular library on the smart contract, which is like responsible to do so. And the next one is counters. So in Solidity, like you can always write down like just add the variables +1 +1 +1, or else you have got a secure way of doing so using counters.sol, which is again a facility provided by OpenZip. Okay, so now to just initialize the smart contract, we have the name and we are implementing ERC 721 URI storage. So your ERC 721 URI storage is again an extension of ERC 721 smart contract itself. Then we just define like which particular variable would be actually counting the token IDs when we just made it. Now, inside the constructor, we would be passing on the variables. The first one would be the name of our collection, and the second one would be the symbol of the collection, right? And here we are having just one simple function using which you would be able to just mint a particular NFT. So anybody, we haven't set any restrictions as to who would be eligible to mint a particular NFT. So there are two requirements for this, two parameters required, which blockchain address this particular NFT would be rewarded to or for whom we are minting. And the second one is the token URI. So token URI is nothing but the metadata of the NFT. So all the JPEGs or the attributes or the properties that a particular NFT holds, all these things can be defined inside this particular token URI in a form of JSON, and that can be uploaded on IPFS. So we would be going to do that on Lighthouse.storage, and we would be then minting our NFT. Okay. So to now we want to deploy it on Filecoin virtual machine. Okay, so in this hackathon we are having the second track, that is the best project on Filecoin virtual machine. So to be eligible for this particular track, you need to deploy your smart contracts on FEM. That is a mandatory stuff. So you can add Filecoin hyperspace to MetaMask just by going to chainlist.org. Here you can just search for Filecoin. Make sure that you have ticked this box where you include the testnets. Choose Filecoin hyperspace testnets and just click on add to MetaMask. So you should be able to see on MetaMask that it will ask you to sign some message, and it will ask you whether you want to add the particular network to your MetaMask, and you should be good to go. The next thing which you would be requiring is some amount of faucets, that is test Filecoins. For that, you can just navigate to hyperspace.yoga/faucet, and you can just scroll down a bit. All you need to do is paste your MetaMask address here. You can just copy it directly from here and paste it right here. Just complete the captcha. Make sure that you are human, or must be all are, but yeah, machines don't understand, so we need to complete the captcha. So we need to fill in which are the refrigerators. This is this. The next one. Okay. Okay. All right, I guess I'm human now. So yeah, just clicking on send would be make you eligible to get 25 test fill, which is more than sufficient for deploying like around roughly more than 50 plus smart contracts. Okay, so I already have some amount of test fields in my account. Some additional test fields are on the way to my account. So I will just proceed ahead in Remix IDE. I just need to select the environment. I will change the environment to injected provider, which makes Remix ID eligible to interact with the MetaMask. And you should be able to see that I'm currently connected with the network ID 3141, which is the test network for Falcon virtual machine, that is hyperspace. Okay, so right now there are only one testnet available, unlike Ethereum, so which is more than sufficient. So all your smart contracts need to be deployed on hyperspace. If you are planning to deploy your project on mainnet, so you can always go and choose the Filecoin mainnet network. Okay, so, but for this hackathon, like you actually don't need to deploy it on mainnet. You can always go with testnet, and you should be good to go. And here you can just choose the smart contract and make sure that your account address is properly connected and sufficient amount of fields are available right here. So clicking on deploy button would pop up the MetaMask, wherein you need to confirm the transaction. Some amount of T fees would be deducted here. Once you confirm the transaction would be processing, and you can just quickly go to Firefox, which is the explorer for hyperspace. You can just, if you are on mainnet or hyperspace, you can just change the network here. We are on hyperspace right now, so I would stick here. So if I just okay, you can see previously I was having 25 fields, and now I'm somewhere around 45 fields, so 25 were added to my particular account. I can just paste my account address here, hit enter button, and I should be able to see all the previous transactions which were done on my account. So the latest one goes for just 5 minutes before. So here we are having 25 fields which are available. So they were just transferred to my account, right? All right, perfect. So again, some the new transaction would appear here. That transaction would be nothing but the transaction which would deploy a smart contract on the blockchain. So as you can see, this transaction is pending. It would take somewhere around roughly a couple of minutes for the contract to be deployed. So meanwhile, let's go to another segment, that is Lighthouse.storage. So Lighthouse.storage is just similar to other storage providers, storage helpers, I would say, like Web3.storage and NFT.storage. You can make a choice between the three, but in this particular tutorial, I would be taking you through the Lighthouse.storage, wherein which provides some additional utilities. So just click on login. Then again, like, it will take you to the Lighthouse.storage the app, wherein it provides you an interface wherein you can just actually upload your files just by drag and drop option. You don't need to set up your own complete website for to do so. But if you are trying to build your own particular application, from where itself the files need to be uploaded, so you can always make use of the documentation which is available. So again, they are having some really good documentation, code examples are there, developer links are there, CLI commands are there, some SDKs are there which will help you to just integrate Lighthouse or Switch into your front-end application. So it can be a React.js or just HTML and JS application also. So I will just log in into a system. So here you can see, like, you can log in via your MetaMask, you can log in via your Google, GitHub. There are plenty of options available. So you can choose your favorite one. For now, let me just go and log in with Google. So even a person who is not entirely acquainted with certain, like, okay, it's asking me for some two-factor authentication. I will just do it some next time. I have already. Okay, so here we go. This is the particular interface from where you can just upload a new file. So what here you can see, like, encryption off on off toggle button is there. So what actually this would do is it will allow you to add access control. Before moving on to that part, I will just know how explain you how easy it is to upload your data on IPFS via Lighthouse.storage. So just click on IPFS and just select any file, maybe. So that file is so quickly uploaded. I will just go to my dashboard, and here you can see the content identifier which I was talking on IPFS. So on IPFS, each file is identified via a content identifier, which we call it as CID. And here you can see, like, you can just copy the link and you can just press it out on Google, and it will take some time to load that particular image, and that is going to be your actual file. Okay. Uh, then the next thing is you can just generate some API keys for your, if you are planning to create your own application and integrate Lighthouse.storage inside it via the Lighthouse.storage SDKs or APIs. Okay. So the first part is done, pretty very easy. A file is uploaded. Let's go to upload a new section, and here you can see, like, I would be turning on the encryption, and I would just again upload the same file. I will do it again. It will just take some amount of time. Okay, it is again uploaded. I will just quickly go back, and here you can see now this particular file is locked, and we are getting an option to apply access control, right? So now here we can add a condition. So now we are creating an NFT contract, right? So now what we can do is, let's say I am uploading a certain file which should be only accessible to the participants for this particular hackathon. No external participant would be able to give this particular presentation or some developer documentation which is created for you. Okay, some confidential files, we can say. So what I can do is I can just select the chain on which particular blockchain it is. For it is on FVM Validated, which is again a different testnet available. So they will be quickly, Hyperspace would also be coming up pretty soon here. So you can have your NFT on some another blockchain as well. Okay. So what you can do is, like, you can just select balance of method, and you can just select the contract type. It is ES721. Add the comparator that the balance of should always be greater than 1. So only those who are having at least one NFT of the particular collection would be able to access that particular document. So this is how you can just by clicking clicking this button, the access control would be added, and only the NFTs which would be who are having the particular NFT would be able to access the particular document. So always, like, here would be this would be the place wherein the contact address of the NFT would go in. Okay. So I hope okay. So as you can see, the file which was uploaded on FFS, it is quite visible here. So you can just verify. So this is nothing but the metadata. We can just consider the metadata for now, which we would be having. So yeah, our smart contract is also deployed here. We can just copy the particular contract address and query the same. Maybe I can just refresh it here, and that should also work. Here you can see like an external create external method, that is nothing but the contract was deployed, and this happened just around 6 minutes before. Or if you just want to specifically query the contract address, you can do that as well. So the block height and message ID, everything is visible here. Okay. So what now we will do is we will actually, let me just copy the particular URL, token URL again, and I will just go. Here are the different methods that are available related to the NFTs. So, for whom do I want to make the particular NFT? And the second one is token URL. Since I have copied the token URL, let me just paste it here, and I can just copy any account address for whom I want to make the particular NFT, and I will just click on transact button. My MetaMask popped up, and I will just confirm the transaction. Okay. Meanwhile, the transaction gets confirmed. I can just check whether the balance right now it's zero because the NFT is yet to be minted. Okay. So once the NFT is minted, we should be able to see that the balance of that particular account address have been incremented. Okay. So that is pretty much how easy it is to deploy your smart contracts and Filecoin virtual machine. Specifically for this hackathon, you can think of hyperspace testnet, so which is a minimum requirement for you to be eligible for Filecoin best project on under 5 FVM track. Okay. This transaction would again take somewhere around roughly 2 minutes, and then you should be good to go. Meanwhile, you can always connect with us on Discord or Slack. The handles goes like that IPFS had that Filecoin. You can navigate to our websites, whether it is hypefs.io, filecoin.io, and there are some good tutorials which are available. So if you are pretty new, go to Proto School where you will be able. There are plenty interactive tutorials available. It will explain you everything from scratch and make you eligible to create some unique DM for this particular hackathon as well. Okay, our main transaction is also successful. Let me just quickly refresh the particular page, and okay, the invoke contract was successful, and it just happened right now. And so in this way, we just interacted with our smart contract as well. And if we check the balance now, it is incremented to 1. Okay, so this states that we have successfully minted our particular NFT. Yeah, so that was all for today's session, and we are open for the Q&A section. Yes, so I already have one question here on my screen. So, what are the different programming languages and frameworks that are required in Web3 development? Firstly, I will just request everyone to get started with JavaScript. You need to really be fluent with JavaScript because, if you are aware of JavaScript, it will be quite very easy for you to learn Solidity, which is again the programming language that is used to write down the smart contracts specifically for event compatible blockchains. So JavaScript is the first step that you need to learn. The second thing for building the complete D app, the next thing you would be required is learn any JavaScript framework for that matter, like React.js, which is my personal favorite, or even Next.js, which is booming in the market right now. So Next.js is quite developer friendly, so you can also build your front end on Next.js as well. Apart from that, if you want to choose or require any sort of backend, that backend remains same. You can choose it from the MERN stack as well. But if you necessarily do not require backend because you would be having smart contracts here, so your application front end would mostly interact with the front end, and you can fetch the data from your smart contracts and display it on front end later. And for storage mechanism, Filecoin is the one which you would always want to choose. What are some of the so we are having what are some of the potential use cases for Web3 in various industries? So finance is the one. DeFi is something which is making tremendous noise in the market right now. So in centralized mechanisms, there are some restrictions which Web3 can overcome. The next thing you might want to target is health sector. So in health sector, there are again tremendous opportunities which Filecoin or storage mechanisms or just Web3 can add some good use cases too. Apart from that, NFTs are again an good use case which can cover most of the workspaces. It can come into ticketing, it can come into the art sector, which adds good utility to the artist. So this thing can also come under that part. And with the introduction of zero knowledge identity or sovereign identity, decentralized identities, all these use cases are something which are some good use cases of Web3. And for this particular hackathon, I would want the guys here who are hacking for this hackathon, just come up with some innovative ideas. There are many ideas, and I know there are many ideas which are built right now. You can just have a look at them. What were the previous ideas or the projects which were built on Web3? You can take a reference of previous projects which are built on different blockchains. If I want to talk about Filecoin, you can just refer Hack FBM or Spacecraft hackathons, and you can just have a look at that and take inspiration from them and try to build some extraordinary, which a product which has some potential to get converted into startup. It's not a compulsory thing, but having that mindset would help you build or some extraordinary product and make you win this hackathon. Yeah, there are some alternatives to Filecoin right now. Arwave is one of them, but they're having some centralized mechanism. But Filecoin brings you a complete decentralized ecosystem. There is no centralization involved, and that's the reason probably why Filecoin is leading the storage space right now.
Okay, so I think that was the question from the live audience. Other than that, we have got some question through the form
Okay.
that while registration. Okay, so these are the questions that what is the future of blockchain technology?
Right. In early 2000, there was internet was just coming up, wherein we were just thinking of reading some information for which is available on internet, right? Then Web 2 came up, and there you were able to write your data. Okay, just like right now you can post your data on Instagram, but when you post the data on Instagram, does that data belong to you? No. Once you post it on Instagram, it's no longer your data. It belongs to Instagram itself. They can monetize that particular data and earn revenue out of it, from where you get nothing. Okay. Now, what Web3 does is you can read, write, and own the data. So now, when you are able to own the data on internet, just think of what are the different possibilities that blockchain technology can bring before you. So there are so many tremendous things which were quite possible till today, and now with introduction to blockchain technology, which are quite possible today, which you guys can build or we can always leverage. So for today, let's see if a particular guy who is sitting in USA wants to transfer some amount of money to me, let's say, so it would take it would take somewhere around roughly 2 hours or so for me to get that money. And in 2 hours, the value of money can drastically change. You never know. The market changes very drastically. So even 2 hours are quite very valuable for me, because we say time is money. So, but in blockchain technology, the same thing can be done in 2 seconds. So it provides you some very good use cases. Like avoid the first. There are quite bad actors currently playing in this particular technology, but it was again when the internet was just getting started. So we really need to avoid those bad actors and bring on some good valuable use cases. So definitely there's some great future that blockchain technology is having, and with integration to IoT, AI, and machine learning, these 3 4 technologies can come together and build some robust solution. Then the next one we are having here is some resources and example on integrating FVM with a Node or Python backend. Definitely, let me just do I have any authority to just type? some text here in the comment section? I guess no.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe,
You can write here.
okay, just give me a minute. Just copy it.
Yeah, right side, you can see the comment section. You can post anything there.
I guess no, I'm not getting it. Maybe I have just dropped on a private chat. Are you guys able to view it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I hope like everybody is able to view it. If not, like maybe Tusha, you can just put this down and give it to the maybe inside if
Yeah.
you are having some
Yeah, I am
any
sharing it in the comment
channels.
section.
All right, perfect. So everything related to FPM, whatever you need to build on FPM, everything is covered inside this particular piece of data frame. Okay. Can I use Python in our project? Basically, our project consists of Spring backend, React.js frontend, and MongoDB. Definitely, you can do it. You can just go through like different possible. If you are just planning to make use of Filecoin just for storage mechanism, storing some data, so you can just navigate to web3.storage, NFT.storage, or Lighthouse.storage for that matter. Use their SDKs and integrate them easily. Does Filecoin provide hosting services? And if yes, will we be getting any concession during building our project? So just like I mentioned during the presentation, Flick is something wherein you can just deploy your complete website, host your complete website. So you can always go to Flick, and it's completely free. So you don't need to pay anything for that. And for deploying your smart contracts, you don't need to deploy your smart contracts on the mainnet, so you can deploy smart contracts on Hyperspace testnet, which is again free. So why Filecoin? So definitely, till this point of time, like Filecoin was just focusing on storage mechanism. But right now, just imagine there is so much amount of data that we human being generate every day, and there's so much amount of data that is currently residing on Filecoin network. And now you are able to compute that data, carry out some computations over that data. So this is something which is not possible with other storage solutions right now. So this is what Filecoin gives you an edge over. So that's the reason probably. And just like you can just have some good market survey. So that's where like Filecoin is already leading. As a beginner, what to do? So this is something like this is the last question probably. I have just covered everything. Okay. So because like I wanted to have this as a last question, because as a beginner, if you are just getting started with Web 2 or you're just getting started into Web 3, I've got some good pointers for you. Just learn some basic programming languages. JavaScript is something which you should always focus on. The next thing is you can just pick up any programming language. Just have like it can be Python, it can be C, or it can be Java. Okay, so this is something out of the hackathon, but this is something like just have a good grasp on one particular programming language, and then choose JavaScript. Then for building on public blockchains, you can choose either Rust programming language or Solidity. I would prefer Solidity because on mostly EVM compatible blockchains, that can be Ethereum, Polygon, Shardam, or Binance Smart Chain, Filecoin. Solidity is like quite supportive, so you can choose Solidity as your prime programming language for writing down the smart contracts. So you can learn this. There's a website called as Zombies, so you can always go to that. They're having some interactive tutorials, which is gamified model, and you can learn Solidity programming language using that particular website. So it will just take you through all the different components that are covered inside the smart contract. The next thing, what you would want to do is take participation, which you have already done in such hackathons. Just keep building some small projects. Maybe you might have built some projects, even if you are not able to build a complete solution in this hackathon, make sure you submit your project, because submission is very important. It will, maybe you won't be able to win some prizes, but it will give you some sort of satisfaction that I have built some projects, and after the hackathon gets concluded, you can continue working on your idea, and you never know, like you can build some next unique idea on Web3. Okay, so this is something like continue building small projects and take it to the next step. So this is something like as a beginner, your roadmap should look like.
Okay, so I have got another question live from the comment section.
Okay. So can you explain the difference between Filecoin virtual machine and even Ethereum virtual machine? So as I've said at the starting point itself, like Filecoin virtual machine is pretty very similar to event compatible Ethereum virtual machine. This was just because the developer community, which is on Ethereum virtual machine, who are very familiar with Ethereum virtual machine, they should be it should be quite easier for them to build on Filecoin blockchain also. So there is like layer zero is Filecoin network. On top of it, we are having layer one, that is Filecoin virtual machine, which is just working on for Filecoin. Okay, Filecoin network. Okay, Ethereum virtual machine, there can be like now like even Binance uses Ethereum virtual machine. There are plenty Ethereum compatible blockchains available, so they are quite pretty similar. Just the prime difference is like FEM got their own consensus mechanism, and all the different event compatible options they got their own consensus mechanism.
Okay, so that was all. So it was a great session, a deep insight into Filecoin and FBM. Okay, so the questions are there are no more questions for now. Um, Moving on to the next slide, a little bit of Hack for Bengal. As all of you know, it's the largest in-person hackathon in Eastern India, a 36-hour in-person hackathon from 28th to 30th April 2023. So most of you have already registered. You know, you are waiting for your approvals, and most of you have got your approvals. And we'll be closing the registration by tomorrow. So about 24 hours left. So if you are still left or any of your peers are left to register, kindly tell them to register as soon as possible. Okay, so a little bit about our gold sponsor, Filecoin Foundation. The winning team will receive a cash prize of rupees 10,000 for best use of Filecoin, and another one we have the as our gold sponsor, Filecoin Virtual Machine, best use of Filecoin Virtual Machine. The winning team receives a cash prize of rupees 10,000. So there are two types of uh, winning teams. One is the Filecoin best use of Filecoin. Another is the best use of Filecoin Virtual Machine. Anything to add, sir, in these uh,
Yeah,
winners?
like just like I previously said, just to be eligible for the first track, that is best use of Filecoin, you can make use of any storage mechanism. You can have your website deployed on a Fleet. You can have make use of like storage, Lighthouse storage, and NFT storage. Try just not using it just to store the data. Try to add on some good utility which will make you more eligible to win this particular prize. And the second one is best use of Filecoin virtual machine. The basic requirement and the compulsory requirement is you need your smart contract should be deployed on Filecoin virtual machines test network, that is hyperspace. So it will make you eligible for the second time.
Okay. That's all. So that was all for the today's session. So as I told, registration will be closing. 1,500 registrations already done. We are already setting the approvals by batches every day and night. Okay, so if you want to know more about Hack for Bengal, do go to this website, hack4bengal.tech. Uh, this is our Discord. This is our website. Then our Discord server, discord.io/hack4bengal. You can clear each and every query regarding our hackathon there. You can use the ticket support for any personal query that you, if you want to directly connect with the organizer and resolve your query. Then the link, all these links will be provided on our comment section. You can directly go there. This is the Twitter handle, twitter.com/hack4bengal. Same username in the LinkedIn also. And this is the registration link, hack4bengal.tech/register. So yeah, just about 24 hours left for the registration to close. Okay. So here we have a feedback form. This is a completely anonymous feedback form. Feel free to write anything and feel free to communicate to us. Okay, whatever you feel about this event, if it was good for you, if you felt that it was interactive enough, it was, you know, you got to learn something about it, or if you want something to be added on so that we can make our events more interactive and we can give a better presentation from the next time. So feel free to write anything. This is a completely anonymous form. I will be keeping this QR for a few seconds. I hope you are all scanning it. Just a few more seconds. Okay. So I am now removing it. Yep. Yeah, Dev Gupta, feel free to write anything. Yeah. Of course, it should be relevant to the event, but of course, if you want to convey anything, you can write there. Okay, not an issue. It's an anonymous form, right? That's why we have kept it anonymous. Okay, so that's all from our side. This was the end of this today's event. I think it was helpful for you all, and start preparing for the hackathon. You know, there are so much of lucrative prizes as an organizer and all, we are thinking that you should win something, right? You should win lots of money. You should gain experience, have a good experience. We are trying to give that. We are preparing to give good experience also. So you should also prepare for getting a good experience, right? So happy hacking, right?
All the
Okay.
best, guys.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. It was a
Thank you.
great session.
Thanks
It
for
was great
having
to
me.
have you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.